Ever knocked over a domino and watched the whole row collapse? That is exactly what happens in an overthinker's brain. One small thought can turn into 20. A 5-second moment can turn into a 5-minute spiral, mental spiral. All because your mind can't resist wondering, what if, even when nothing is actually wrong? I'm a huge overthinker, and for a long time, I thought it was a flaw and something that I needed to fix. But the more I realized how my brain works, the more I realized that there's a lot more layers to it than people understand. Today, my goal is to explain what overthinking really feels like, why we act the way we do, and how we can support overthinkers, including ourselves. I feel that a common misunderstanding is that overthinkers are overly dramatic, but that is not the case. It's not like we're trying to be problematic or too much, because if we could, trust me, if we could control it and stop it, we would love to, because it takes a lot out of you mentally. But it's not really easy like that. It's like having a brain that refuses to sit still. According to Take the 12, overthinkers are masters of what-ifs. One example I have of this is this year, on the first day of school, I was debating on quitting volleyball. I could barely focus all day. I was going through the pros and the cons, but I knew what I wanted to do and I knew what I should do. I just couldn't stop overthinking, what if? What would these people say? What would they think? Going through every single possibility through my head. Another example I have is what I do often with my friends, for instance, is that I apologize. I assume I did something wrong and then I apologize multiple times. And my friends can get a little annoyed of me saying sorry so much because they can get over things really fast, but it can take me hours to days to get over a small problem. It is common for overthinkers to apologize a lot because when it comes to blaming someone, the first person to blame is yourself. Overthinkers replay conversations, moments, and decisions because our mind is constantly trying to predict every possible outcome, even the tiny ones. We notice details that other people miss, like tone or a small change in someone's expression. It sounds helpful, but it can be exhausting when your brain never stops analyzing for every single detail. And everyday situations feel bigger than they actually are, not because we want them to be, but because we imagine every version of what could happen. But overthinking doesn't happen for no reason. There's always something behind it. A huge part of overthinking is wanting to avoid messing up. Overthinkers care, and sometimes too much. We don't want to disappoint someone, hurt someone, or make a wrong decision. Many overthinkers can be sensitive, thoughtful, or perfectionist. People forget that these can actually be strengths. Being aware is good. Wanting to get things right is good. Being thoughtful is good. But when we mix these traits together with a fast-moving mind, overthinking becomes a habit. Your brain gets used to looking for mistakes even when nothing is there. It becomes automatic, and once it does, it's hard to tell a difference between the real problem or is it your problem that your mind is creating. Small moments start to feel bigger than they actually are, and even harmless situations can feel like they need more attention than they really do. Slowly, your mind starts treating caution as the safest option and as the first option, even when nothing is actually threatening. So, if that's what's happening inside an overthinker's head, what do we do with it? The first thing overthinkers need is reassurance. Not in a condescending way, but in a clear, direct, honest way. According to Jess Warner, when expectations and words are clear, there is less room for your mind to fill in the blank with worst-case scenarios. The second step is learning to pause and check reality. It really helps. High Focus Treatment Centers states that asking ourselves, did something actually happen, or is our mind just jumping to conclusions? It can stop a lot of noise happening in your brain. It also reminds us that being perfect is impossible and mistakes are part of learning. Most importantly, overthinking is not all bad. When it's used right, it can become strength. Overthinkers are great at planning, catching small details, and understanding people to a deep level. In some cases, it can help us think ahead and actually prevent problems before they really happen. That awareness can make us very empathetic and prepared for things that others might overlook. So let me bring everything back together. We looked at what overthinking actually feels like, the reasons our mind latch onto certain thoughts, and how a little understanding can make life easier for both the overthinker and the people around them. So if you take anything away from today, let it be this. Overthinkers do not choose to be the way they are, and they are not too much. We just feel deeply, and that is not a weakness. It's part of what makes us human.